After my wife's car broke down, I gave her mine and took the bus to work for months. I never complained. One day I came home early and saw her brother driving it, windows down, music blasting. When I asked why, she said he needed it more. I looked at her and said, "And me?" She just walked away. That night, I called a tow truck, and the next morning, "I'm Darren. I'm 43. I live in Aurora, Colorado. I work in warehouse logistics for a shipping company. Long hours, not a lot of thanks, but I show up every day and do what I have to. I've been married to Tanya for almost 10 years. We met through a friend when I was 33 and she was 30. She worked front desk at a dental office back then. She was funny, kind, and had this calm way about her. We moved in together fast. A year later, we got married. I thought we were in it for the long run. About 6 months ago, her car, an old Honda Civic, just quit on her. Dead on the side of the road after work. Tow truck couldn't get it started. The engine was done. We didn't have the money for a new one. She was upset. I told her not to worry. I gave her my car. It wasn't some beat-up junker. It was a 2018 Toyota Camry. Reliable, low miles, clean inside and out. I loved that car. I'd worked overtime for months to save up for it. It was my first real nice thing. But I didn't think twice. She needed it more, right? That's what you do when you're married. You sacrifice. So I started taking the bus. I set my alarm 2 hours earlier than before. I stood out in the freezing cold waiting for transfers. I sat in crowded buses with strangers coughing around me. When it snowed, I walked 3 blocks in work boots through slush. Sometimes I got home so late I barely had time to eat and shower before bed. But I didn't complain. Not once. She'd ask how my day was, and I'd just say, "Long." Then I'd ask how hers was. I let her have the comfort while I took the hit. I told myself it was just until we could fix her car or save up for another. Weeks passed. Then months. I started noticing little things. She never once offered to switch for a few days. She never asked if I was okay or if the buses were running late in the snow. She just drove my car like it was hers now. Kept it spotless. Kept the Bluetooth hooked up to her phone. Didn't even say thanks anymore. Still, I kept quiet. Maybe I was being sensitive. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a Friday in late March. My manager told us to wrap up early. Some corporate audit got pushed back. I was out the door by 2 p.m., which was rare. I thought I'd surprise Tanya. Maybe we could go out for dinner, watch a movie. Something normal. I took the early bus home. No delays. Got to our neighborhood around 3:30. As I turned the corner onto our street, I heard loud music. The kind with bass that makes your chest vibrate. I looked up, and my car was coming down the block. Windows down. Music blasting. And behind the wheel was not my wife. It was her brother, Leon. Leon is 29, no job, no drive, no clue. He's lived with his mom on and off for years. Always between jobs. Always needing to figure things out. I never liked him much, but I stayed civil for Tanya's sake. Now he was driving my car. Like he owned it. One hand on the wheel, nodding to the beat, sunglasses on. He pulled into my driveway like he lived there. I stood there at the curb waiting. He didn't say anything to me. Didn't even make eye contact. Just walked right past me, whistling, and let himself into my house. I followed him inside. My heart was racing. Tanya was in the kitchen, scrolling her phone, acting like nothing was weird. I asked, "Why is your brother driving my car?" She looked up, barely blinking. "He needed it." I said, "He needed it? I've been taking the bus for 4 months. Standing in the cold. Getting home after dark. And you gave him my car." She shrugged. "He has stuff going on." I stared at her. "And me? Don't I have stuff going on?" She didn't say a word. She just turned around and walked down the hall. That was it. No fight. No explanation. She just walked away like I didn't matter. I stood in the kitchen for a while. I couldn't move. I felt like something inside me cracked open. Not just anger. It was something deeper. Disgust. Betrayal. Realizing I was nothing more than a doormat in my own marriage. I didn't sleep that night. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling. I kept replaying it all. Her tone. Her face. The way she just dismissed me like I was being dramatic. At 3 a.m. I sat up. I made a decision. I walked into the kitchen, opened the drawer where we kept the extra car key, and slipped it into my pocket. Then I called a tow truck. "Yeah, I need a vehicle picked up first thing," I told them. "It's my car, but someone else is driving it." I'll send the address and title info. That morning, while Tanya and Leon were still asleep, the tow truck came and took my car. I had it towed to my friend Mike's auto shop across town. He was doing me a favor by storing it. By the time Leon woke up and realized it was gone, it was already on the lift getting checked. He blew up my phone, called me names, said I humiliated him. I didn't answer. Tanya called twice. Then she texted, "You're being ridiculous. It was just a car." That's when I realized something. I wasn't mad about the car. I was mad because I didn't matter to her. My comfort didn't matter. My sacrifice didn't matter. It had become normal to her that I was the one who always bent. That day, I drove to the bank, took out half of our joint savings, opened a new account. Then I printed every financial doc I could find and stored it in a folder, just in case. When I got home, she was waiting, angry, arms crossed. "You went too far," she said. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "You crossed the line the day you gave away something that wasn't yours." She didn't respond. I packed a small duffel, clothes, charger, work stuff. Then I left. I checked into a cheap motel near work. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. Quiet. No one else's rules. I didn't go to work that Monday. I called in, sat on the edge of the bed, staring out the window, thinking. This wasn't just about the car. It was about the years I spent being dependable, being ignored, letting myself become invisible in my own house. I reached out to a lawyer, not to file yet, just to ask questions, get my ducks in a row. This isn't over, not even close. I kept records, I kept texts, I kept screenshots, and for once, I'm not letting this slide. I gave up too much for people who didn't care. Now it's time to take it all back. It had been 3 days since I left the house. Tanya didn't come to the motel. She didn't try to find me. Just sent one last text that said, "Let me know when you're done acting like a child." I didn't answer. I kept going to work like normal. No one there knew what was happening. I didn't talk about it. I just kept my head down. Every night, I'd go back to the motel, sit in silence and think. Then Mike called. "Hey man," he said. "You might want to come down here. I had someone snooping around your car." I drove straight there. When I pulled up to the shop, Mike was standing outside smoking a cigarette, looking pissed. "Saw Tanya and her brother parked across the street," he said. "They didn't come in, but they were watching. Probably trying to figure out if it's your car here." He showed me the security footage. It was them, sitting in Leon's beat-up Nissan. Tanya in the passenger seat, arms crossed. Leon eating something, looking bored. I didn't say anything for a while. Then I asked Mike to move my car into the garage bay where no one could see it. He agreed. That night, I got a voicemail from Tanya. "You're doing all this for a car? Seriously? We're your family, Darren. You're choosing a car over your marriage." That hit different. Now she wanted to talk about marriage. The next day, I got home from work, opened my motel room door, and found an envelope slid under it. No name, no note. Inside were 3 photos of me sitting on the bus. From behind. Like someone was watching. I looked around the hallway. Empty. It creeped me out. I called Tanya even though I didn't want to. She picked up on the second ring. "You following me?" I asked. "What are you talking about?" "Someone sent photos of me. On the bus." She paused. Why would I do that? I didn't believe her. That same night I drove by the house. I just needed to see it. My house. The lawn hadn't been cut. Garbage cans were still out front. Leon's car was in the driveway and so was a second car I didn't recognize. A dark blue Mustang. That Mustang stayed for days. I asked a neighbor I trusted if they noticed anything strange. "Tanya's got some guy staying over," she told me. "Been there every night this week. Thought maybe you two were separated." I didn't reply. I drove back to the motel, sat in the car, and stared at the steering wheel. That Mustang wasn't just some friend. I knew it. My gut told me Tanya had moved on before I even packed that bag. Now it was all making sense. Why she didn't care when I left. Why she didn't fight for me. Why she gave my car away like it meant nothing. I checked our joint account. She had emptied it. All of it. Every last dollar. That's when I stopped thinking about saving the marriage. That's when I knew this was war. I called my lawyer again. Told her I was ready to file. She asked me for everything: texts, documents, receipts. I sent it all. I also gave her something extra. A voicemail from Leon. He'd called a few nights earlier, drunk or high, I couldn't tell. He left this gem: "Man, she never respected you. You let her walk all over you. You think this is new? You're just mad 'cause I was the one behind the wheel this time. That was my proof. Proof that this wasn't about a car. It was about how little they thought of me. The next day, I filed for divorce. I asked for the house, the car, and restitution for the money taken from our account. I included the voicemail and screenshots. My lawyer was sharp. She said it'd be a fight, but we had a solid case. And then I made one more move. I posted on social media, not angry, not petty, just a short message. After nearly 10 years of marriage, I've realized that loyalty can't be one-sided. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing self-respect. Details will stay private. But I'm moving on. If you know, you know. I didn't tag her. I didn't have to. Within hours, mutual friends started messaging me. Some asked what happened. Some said they'd noticed weird things with Tanya months ago. A few even admitted they'd seen that Mustang before I ever left the house. Then, something unexpected happened. A woman named Denise messaged me. She said she worked at the dental office with Tanya. She wasn't trying to start drama, but thought I should know. There was a guy, real smooth talker, drove a Mustang. Started showing up around January. Tanya said he was just a friend from high school. They had lunch a lot. People were starting to whisper. Just thought you'd want to know. January? That was when her car died. That was when I gave her mine. That was when she started coming home late and talking less. Now it was all adding up. I wasn't just replaced. I was replaced months ago. I was the last one to know. And I wasn't done yet. After Denise messaged me, everything shifted. I thought I was angry before. I wasn't. Not really. What I felt now was different. Cold. Focused. I didn't yell, didn't break anything. I just sat there in my motel room and started writing things down. Dates. Times. Patterns. I went through old texts, bank statements, gas receipts. I made a timeline. Tanya's car died in January. I gave her mine the next day. By late January, she stopped texting me during the day. In February, she stopped calling me at work. In March, the Mustang started showing up. By April, Leon was driving my car. And now in May, she drained the account and moved the new guy into my house. She was planning this for months. She used me. She knew I'd offer the car. Knew I wouldn't ask questions. She gave it to Leon so her new guy could come and go without raising red flags. Leon was the cover. It wasn't about her brother needing it. It was never about that. It was about hiding the affair. Suddenly, I remembered something that chilled me. Back in February, I came home late from a double shift. She was already in bed. The laundry basket was in the hallway. I saw a men's hoodie on top. Not mine. I asked her about it. She said it was Leon's. He left it when he stopped by, she said. I didn't think much of it then. Now I knew it wasn't Leon's. It belonged to the guy in the Mustang. I couldn't sleep after that. I paced the floor until the sun came up. I went to work the next day, but I wasn't all there. My supervisor, Greg, pulled me aside. You all right? He asked. I just said, going through some stuff. He nodded. Didn't push. That night, I went back to Mike's shop and checked on my car. He kept it in perfect shape. Still had my work gloves in the back seat. Still smelled like the air freshener I used. It was the only thing that felt like mine anymore. Then I got an idea. I called my lawyer the next morning and asked her how hard it would be to request a temporary restraining order on the house. On what grounds? She asked. I have evidence there's a man living there who isn't on the lease, who isn't related to me, and who may be interfering with property proceedings. She said it was possible if we framed it right. I sent her the messages from Denise, the photos from the neighbor, the bank records showing Tanya emptied the account. She filed the motion. Meanwhile, I had something else to do. I drove to Leon's place. Not his mom's basement, he had a crash pad now, some apartment with two guys he'd met in community college years ago. Real winners. He wasn't home, but one of his roommates let me in. He thought I was a delivery guy. I walked to the garage. There it was. Tanya's old Honda. Still dead. Still sitting there under a tarp. I took a deep breath, opened the door, and started taking pictures. Inside the car was a mess. Old receipts, wrappers, a box of tissues, and under the passenger seat, a fast food bag with a receipt. It was dated January 8th. 2 burgers, fries, and a shake. Paid with a debit card under the name E. Russell. Not Leon's name. Not Tanya's either. E. Russell. I Googled it. Eric Russell. He was in her high school yearbook. Baseball team. One of the popular guys. I found him on Facebook. Guess what he drove? A dark blue Mustang. And guess what? He was single. Recently divorced. No kids. Lives in a rental house one town over. I took screenshots of everything. My lawyer said if I could link Eric Russell to my wife during the time we were married, and while we were sharing assets, it could strengthen my claim for misconduct and financial abuse. Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, but courts still care when money is involved, especially if someone moved their affair partner into the marital home before the divorce was even filed. By the end of that week, the temporary motion was granted. Tanya was served at the house. She called me within minutes. "You're seriously trying to evict me?" I said, "No. I'm removing someone who doesn't belong there. If you want to stay in the house alone, fine. But he leaves. Today." She went quiet. "You had no right to bring him in while we're still married," I added. "You emptied our account. You gave away my car. You lied for months. You don't get to pretend you're the victim." Then I hung up. 3 hours later, my neighbor texted me a photo. The Mustang was gone. But it wasn't over. Not even close. Because what I was planning next would be the part they never saw coming. 2 days after Eric's Mustang disappeared from my driveway, my lawyer called. The judge approved a full temporary order. Eric couldn't return to the house. Tanya could stay, but she was now officially barred from moving anyone else in without court permission. It felt like the first real win in months. But I wasn't done. The next move? Financial forensics. I asked my lawyer to dig deeper into the money Tanya pulled from our joint account. She sent me to a private accountant she worked with. I paid for a deep audit of our last year of spending. Tanya never thought I'd look into any of it. Turns out the signs were there all along. Starting back in February, our account showed multiple cash withdrawals, small ones, $80 here, $60 there. But they were always followed by charges at restaurants I'd never been to. Places in Denver where Eric worked. Places near his gym. Charges at a hotel 2 towns away, twice in March, once in April. Same hotel every time. She used our money to rent rooms with him. She used our money to take him out. She took my car so he wouldn't have to pick her up like some side piece. The accountant flagged over $3,200 that could reasonably be tied to her affair. That was enough to hit her with a claim of dissipation of marital assets. I let the lawyer handle the legal part. I was focused on one last thing. The house. I wanted it. Not out of spite. I'd bought it. Paid for the down payment with money I saved for years. I handled the mortgage. I repaired the roof myself when the storm hit last summer. It was mine, but she refused to move out. So I waited. 2 weeks later, I showed up with a process server. Tanya was in her bathrobe, hair up, no makeup. She answered the door and the server handed her the motion papers. I was seeking full ownership of the house on the grounds of abandonment, fraud, and misuse of assets. She started yelling at me in front of the guy. "You think you can just take everything from me?" "You already did," I said. "I'm just taking it back." She threw the papers at my chest and slammed the door. 3 days after that, she was gone. No note. No call. Just gone. I came by with my lawyer and the house was empty. She left some of her stuff behind. Took her clothes and the things she could carry. Even left the bedroom TV. The lawyer said we could file for abandonment now. Legally, she gave up her right to the house by leaving without notice or a forwarding address. Eric? He posted on Facebook the next day. Guess I should have known better than to get involved with someone married. Lesson learned. He got dumped too. She used him like she used me. And when it got hard, she ran. The divorce was finalized a month later. I got the house. I got my car. I got 75% of what was left in the retirement accounts because I proved she wasted shared funds during her affair. The judge also ordered her to repay $2,500 in damages for misused money. She tried to fight it, but once the receipts were laid out, she had nothing. I thought that would be the end of it. Then I got a call from her old job. Turns out someone had forwarded them my social media post. The one where I talked about choosing self-respect. Someone there had known Eric too and put 2 and 2 together. Word spread. Tanya didn't just lose her marriage. She lost her job. They didn't fire her for cheating. That wasn't the issue. They let her go because she had used company time and their resources, like the office printer, for personal business, including sending Eric travel itineraries and printing hotel confirmations. She even used her work email to communicate with him. Sloppy. She moved back in with her mom. Last I heard. No car, no job, no partner. Leon? He got arrested 2 weeks later. Turns out, he'd been pulled over in his own car and had a suspended license. The cops found a little bag of something in the glove box. Nothing huge, but enough to get him a court date. My lawyer asked if I wanted to pursue Leon for unauthorized use of my vehicle. I said no. He was already drowning. Revenge, for me, wasn't about destroying people. It was about letting the truth catch up to them. And it did. As for me, I kept the house, put in new locks, repainted the rooms, changed the bedroom entirely, got rid of every reminder of her, bought a used Ford F-150 and parked my Camry in the garage, safe and sound. I still live in Aurora, still work in logistics, but I walk a little taller now. I learned something from all this. Sometimes love blinds you to who people really are, but truth always shows up eventually. And when it does, you don't need to scream. You just step aside and let karma do the talking. She heard it loud and clear.